or they will pass you an email, and even if they pass you an OOXML file, very often you will find that the processes within the place of work don't require it as much because it's very web-based, very form-based, web form-based, and there isn't so much of the throwing around of, of files. People realize they want to do things in a centralized fashion. So I think the disruption, the innovation, the movement, the progress in the market is really throwing Microsoft back, and this is why they try to do all this subscription now, and they say, oh, Office is going to run on Linux if you get the subscription to run basically the web-based version you can run on Linux, because they're so miserable. So essentially they are opening the door to Linux in the enterprise, getting access to all the features that in some enterprises, I suppose you will have to use that. And it's a subject I want to cover very quickly after the break. I just want to play a quick track. This is called My Patriotism by Serengeti.
Patriotic makes you really not want to learn. Bag up little grand bags like you'll never have a turn. There's no future, there's no very first book of shapes, no outdoor cafe and wooden bowls of wet grapes. Everybody's golden, eating oranges and little cakes. Expatriates in the state never really date, just fuck fertile. Find a little place and be purple. Turn to heroin, free as the green sea turtle. Not patriotic, like having a couple beers with college friends. Everybody's pretty much not caught in whatever sucks, but that's life. Some make it out, summer as ice. Excuses and not fair, like an unanswered morning prayer. I'm thinking positively. I got these new books, got this new religion and shit. I got it. Man, I don't feel too patriotic, so selfish and absorbing wealth. Knowledge of self, so American like go for Delph. It's tradition, winners and victims. Winners win and raise hip kids. Poor people day gigs for the rest of your life. Not a tennis playing wife, not a son who writes books. Clean up kitchen and cook, work summers on roofs. At least you'll stay in pretty decent shape. No garnished fruit bowls, carafes of juice, and light and fluffy crepes. Do nothing to work and stress. You ask for self-win, raise your kids to be free. Start a band called Need. Tour Spain, champagne, cocaine, remain. Golf stroke, stay broke, gotta smoke, revoke. Mountain lodge, garage to edit film, super sweet. Now reinforced concrete on your back and feet. Pro guns and day gigs and rich kids and mad smiths. The U.S., the most fanciful nothingness. To go in, lead her well off. Buy shit and turn soft. Thin like chicken broth. 6 days a year off. And don't get sick, prick. Loans ain't repaid quick. College to become a temp. Ride your bike and share rent. Stay poor to pay less. Make more to pay more. Get rich, get kicks. Say so long to day gigs. Say hello to tennis courts. No table tips and reports. I'm probably wrong about all this stuff, of course. Single dad, day gig, divorce. I met her when she was on horse. My lack of patriotism affects all this, of course, worse. I'm probably wrong about all this shit, of course, man. I'm probably wrong about all this shit, of course, man. Uncle, I surrender, man. I surrender, dog. I surrender, man. Uncle, man, I surrender, dog. I surrender, man.
Okay, we're back. So the next thing we want to cover today is OOXML, OpenXML, as some prefer to call it, putting the open euphemism inside of it. So one of the things I wanted to ask you is, in general, there was this conversion project of OOXML, which was part of the deal between Novell and Microsoft in 2006, architected in part by a bunch of people, top of Novell, people like Ron Ovsepian, and I believe another person was the main player in this was Jeff, what's his name, Jeff Jaffa or something like that.
Yeah.
So they basically agreed to aid at a very crucial time with the Massachusetts incident and all that, Peter Quinn and so on. They were aiding Microsoft when it comes to giving some momentum, giving some inertia to OOXML. And I recall you didn't really support the project at the time. You were very skeptical of it as a person who's part of the OpenOffice project. And And the situation now is a bit different. So when it comes to those who are promoting in any form, trying to promote the use of OOXML even passively, are you still of the same position, or do you think there might be some concessions made, or that the strategy needs to change somewhat?
I think that the strategy definitely needs to change because, there's something that we should never forget. And somehow it's immaterial to the reality, which is that actually OpenXML or OOXML, whatever, the thing that people use and share and exchange and edit, those documents are not standardized. I mean, that's not the thing that's at the ISO. But at the end of the day, Microsoft was successful in basically invading the world with OpenXML. And they managed to do that. And the paradox, though, is that, as you rightly said before the break, the monopoly is crumbling in many respects. The problem is, bad habits tend to last long. So ODF right now does not have, I think, a fundamental strategy to basically spread and grow its market share. The thing that was really important, and that was in many regards a success, is that we managed to spread the message of open standards to the public sector and to parts of the private sector. That's what we did. We explained to them, that's the big issue. It's how you're going to adapt your procurement rules to open standards. Because right now your procurement rules are in most cases rigged or are inefficient to get rid of proprietary software and non-standardized solutions, file formats, and protocols. That we were very successful with. But when it comes to innovative implementations, which basically create disruption, and disruption, when you look at how Microsoft's market share in general terms of products is diminishing, you realize that people are using different stuff. They're not using the actual answer to whatever Microsoft product. There's no, Xbox, whatever, is now being fought with Open Xbox. Microsoft Office, in the end, will be defeated not by the clone of Microsoft Office. It will be defeated by the innovative, paradigm-changing version of LibreOffice.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's what will happen. And right now, that hasn't happened at all. So, ODF will have its traction being proportionately estimated to the traction of the alternate Office suites and solutions.
Mm-hmm. Can you say a bit about... Well, okay. I think one of the latest reports that I've read about, let me see if I get this right, there was a company called something like Open Source Business something group, whatever, and they're very obscure to me personally, although I did observe them before and they seem a bit suspicious to me. And then I was trying to find out what is the source of funding for this group. And I was informed it's definitely not Microsoft, at least not directly. I was advised that I should have a look at, either it's coming from the German and Swiss municipalities, for example. And perhaps a few more, or perhaps there is a bit of inertia for those that are trying to implement the bridge to accommodate OOXML or OpenXML in the Office suites.
Right. Well, indeed. So I think that's a direct result of what I was describing, in the sense that the OSBA is actually an established and known organization, Open Source Business Alliance. The thing is that they might not be sharing the same values as Richard Stallman would like, but they've been going on for quite some years now. And indeed, what happened was we had a couple of German and also Swiss entities, public sector entities, cities, canton. They basically were ready to migrate away from LibreOffice. Away from Microsoft Office. But their big thing, the big problem, was to essentially deal with the existing pool of OpenXML documents that are being sent to them